I had an opportunity to work with a young man in a restorative process. And he was brought to us because he stole an iPhone. And when he sat down, I smiled at him and he looked at me with a strange pair of eyes and just said, "Who is this guy smiling at me?" Right? And we asked him if he will accept responsibility for stealing that iPhone from his friend. And he said, "Yes, I accept responsibility for stealing that iPhone from my friend." And subsequently, we asked a bunch of questions to him. One of the questions I asked this young man is that, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And he said, I don't know. I don't know. People tell me I'm going to join a gang or something." I said, "Oh, okay. What else?" He said, "What do you want to do, man?" And he said, "I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I want to be a basketball player." I said, "Okay, great. Now, if that doesn't work out, what do you want to do?" And he said, "Well, I don't know. Maybe a football player." I said, "Yeah, that's great. Fantastic." So then we asked a few more questions to this young man, and subsequently I leaned in at one point. I said, "Man, tell me, what is your favorite subject in school?" And he said, "What?" I said, "Yeah, classes. What's your favorite class?" And he just looked around and he looked at me and he said, "I kind of like science." I said, "What did you say?" He said, "I like science." I said, "That's good, man, speak up." And he said, "Oh, good, I like science." I said, "Good." So subsequently the process takes us into consequences. So he has to do a few things to repair the harm he has committed to the school as well as to the individual. So we asked him to write an apology note to that young man's phone that he took. Then we asked him to write an apology note to the school system. He said, "Yes, I will do that." Then I said, "Okay, I got one more favor to ask you. I want you to do a research." And he said, "What?" I said, "I want you to do a quick research about Neil deGrasse Tyson." And he said, "Huh? Who's that?" I said, No, it's for you to tell me. I will spell the name out for you, but you are going to tell me who is Neil deGrasse Tyson." He said, "Okay." So 5 weeks goes by, he comes back to the circle, and we sit down, we asked him to read his apology note. He reads his apology note very proudly, and then he turns around to his mom and he apologizes to her. And I asked him, "What about that research paper?" He said, "Oh yeah, I got that done too." And then he pulls out this crumpled piece of paper from his back pocket. I'm thinking, okay, this is going to be good. Right? So then he reads, he says, "Oh, and did you know Neil deGrasse Tyson, he is on TV." I said, "Oh yeah, really? What does he do?" "He's talking about some, planets and Earth and all that stuff." I said, "Yes, he is an astrophysicist." And he said, Yeah, that thing." I said, "Oh, cool. So what else?" He looked at his paper and looked at me and he said, "And did you know he looks like me?" I said, "Tell me more." "He's black." I said, "Whoa, yes, he is an African-American astrophysicist, if you want to go there." He said, "Yeah." Right, so I was like, yeah, fascinated, right? So at that point I realized that type of process allowed us to open up his horizon, expand his horizon beyond the limitations, beyond the script that has been given to him in his community, by the system. Right? At that point, I realized that it is possible for us to expand his horizon. And of course, his mom then leans in and said, "Yeah, and he's a cute-looking black man too." I said, "Oh yeah, that he is. That he is." You see, our current criminal justice system is intent on creating the sense that they are going to secure the society for us by arresting people and incapacitating them, imprisionize people so that you and I will have a sense of safety and security in our community. In that process, we started in 1970 with 300,000 people in our prison system, and in 2010, we had 2.1 million people in our prison system, and we didn't stop there. We went on and had added another 5 million people in our correctional system, right? In our correctional system. So this process is about taking people out, removing them from our society, and punishing them in a way that makes you and I feel like something is being done, I don't care what it is, and it removes us from that process. Right? It removes us from that process. And this continues on, and it bleeds into our school system. What do we do in our school system? We continue to suspend the kids. Suspension is at a high rate, and we expel kids at times. So if you will understand that in 2010, 2011, 2012 study shows that about 3.5 million children have been suspended in our school systems, and another 130,000 kids have been expelled from our school system. Again, this is a system that is learning and pretending to do what it's supposed to do, education, but in the process, it is also replicating what our criminal justice system continues to do. So we are preparing kids to enter into the criminal justice system. Right? School to prison pipeline begins with suspensions and expulsions. And disproportionately, that policy, that process affects African American students at large and other students of color in general. So the system is acting without really being conscious. Now, I was really troubled by this. So I walked into Stillwater Prison, where I do a lot of volunteer work, and I gathered a group of men, and I said, man, you all need to help me, right? There's a lot of research out there that shows how to stop kids from entering into the system, and yet we keep doing this, right? We keep doing this process all the time. So tell me what we can do. You all been there, and they all gave me this patent answers, raise their self-esteem, find them a job, and so on and so forth. All those are fantastic. Then I said, okay, thank you. I packed my bag, and one man said, yo. I said, huh? Yo, listen. I said, I am listening. He said, man, no. Listen to the youth. Listen to the kids. And I said, oh, okay. Listen to the kids. He said, listen to the kids and then learn from the kids. Learn about their lives, about their struggles. Learn about how disparities and poverty and all these other elements affect their lives. I said, what else? He said, listen, learn, and then, and only then, lead the process. See, I was thinking, wow, this is fantastic advice, because once again, he taps into us being conscious about the process, us being conscious about what we are doing in order for us to be able to do something different from what the dictates of our system, right? Our system continues to send kids out of school and send kids to prisons and so on and so forth. So this continues, right? This continues. I was reminded of the disparities that exist in our society. One Sunday morning, like most of you, I woke up late. I had a session, a restorative justice session with a young woman in the North Branch Library. I got up, I went to a nearby suburb, I ordered myself some coffee, started doing some reading and grading some of my students' papers, and I happened to overhear this conversation next door to the next table. I love to listen to people's conversations, so I'm sorry, I'm a creeper, okay? So as I was reading this and listening to their conversation, that they talked about, how horrendous this winter has been and how much shoveling of snows they have to do. And one man turned to another woman in that group and asked her, hey, the last time we were here, you guys were about to buy a house. And she said, oh yeah, we bought a house. And another person turns to her and said, so how many houses do you guys have? And she said, I don't know, but 5 houses. I said, oh, okay, great, 5 houses. I was still grading. Then the conversation, migrated to spring, Minnesotans love to talk about weather. So spring, and their travel plans for the spring, and where they are going for their spring breaks, and so on and so forth. And then they went into the summer. And one man turned to another person in that group and said, hey, did you guys buy that big boat that you were thinking about buying? And she said, oh yeah, we did. Oh yeah. Yeah, thanks for asking. Yes, we did. And then someone asked her, so how many boats do you guys have now? She said, I don't know, but 20 boats. I said, oh, okay, great. I packed up my bag. I left that scene. I started my car, and I looked at the clock, and I said, oh, okay, I have about 30 minutes to get there, right? So I'll drive up there. I drove up there, I stopped at the library, I locked up, I looked at my clock, and it says I was there in about 15 minutes, right? 15 minutes. It didn't take me that long to get there. So I get up there, I listen to this young woman's story, right? This 14-year-old young woman was sitting right next to her mom, and we asked her, so what happened on that day after school? She said a bunch of us went to Target, right? I said, okay. Good. And then I saw this makeup set. I just saw this makeup set, and I just wanted to look good. I just wanted to look good. All my friends, they all look good. I just want to look good. So I took this makeup set. I said, okay. And that's when it hit me. Right? No more than 15 minutes away, I heard people going on vacations, owning 5 houses and 20 boats. And then 15 minutes apart from that place, you have a young woman struggling and wanting to look nice. Right? So systems does not pay attention to these types of disparities that is so palpable, that can be felt, but systems don't address these issues, right? Systems often don't address these issues that exist, economic disparity as well as racial disparities, and it only continues to remove one's humanity and boost that sense of security for businesses as well as for all of us. Right? For all of us. So as I was thinking through this process, what does it take for us to do something different? Because as Einstein would say, right, we continue to do the same thing and expect different results. That's insanity. So how do we step out of this insanity? Here's the model that we developed in the process. It's about not just paying attention to the systems. Systems are not broken, right? All systems do exactly what it is designed to do. Right? All systems do exactly what it is designed to do. So systems inform the communities. Communities socialize families. Families socialize individuals. Let us add a layer of consciousness. Let us ask some critical questions that are necessary so that we can continue to inform that system and humanize that system. Right? So the challenge for us is for us to be engaged in this process of humanizing. And as we continue to move into this humanization of this process, we will be able to help that young man expand his horizon, right? Help address the disparities that exist in our communities, and also be engaged in this conversation with our larger community. because it is possible for us to help those who really are languishing in our prison systems. And they want their humanity to be recognized. Right? They want their humanity to be recognized. They want us to listen, learn, and lead. Right? And not to disregard the disparities that exist in our society. Let us make that commitment. So join me. Close your eyes, if you will. All of you, close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Right? Take a deep breath. Right? Let that molecules, that oxygen travel down your nostrils and get into your lungs. Fill that lungs. And as you're breathing, become conscious of what the needs are out there. Let us make a commitment to listen, to learn, and to lead. Because there is a famous saying in Nigeria that goes like this, right? Do not worry if your children are not listening to you, but worry that your children are watching you. Right? The generation that comes after us is watching us. Let us help them be different. Let us help them engage the system and humanize the process. Thank you.